My hat! And welcome back to another episode of My Nephew Broke My Truck. So this system has a lot of power and he destroyed one of the half shafts. He flipped the truck. I told him not to throttle it. This one right over here. I've already taken this apart. So he kept doing it and yeah, he destroyed it. That's what ended up happening. So here, all you do is just take the hex off. There's a little pin. Make sure you don't drop it. Put it off to the side. Now, you just pull this out, and this is what he destroyed right in here. So if you look at this, this came off. There's a universal joint, and the plastic is actually twisted and broken off right there. So I'm going to be replacing these. I'm taking the bearings off. I am going to be reusing them. These bearings are in very good shape. But here we go. So the very first thing, you need to remove that with a 1.5 millimeter driver. And it's just a screw pin. So you just remove that. It's very, very simple. You know, I like putting my little thumb on there so I can pull it out just on the threads. But then that just slid right out. Now I'm going to be using this part right here, 1951R, and these were given to me by my buddy Rod, so do follow him on Instagram at RodReelsRCs. He has some really cool content, but here they are. He originally bought them for his Traxxas Slash, but they didn't fit because they're too long. And if we compare these, see, these will screw on, but they are just too long for a Slash or a Stampede. So don't buy these. He bought them. He had them sitting for a long time and gave them to me. So thanks so much for these shafts. I'm going to go ahead and install them. I am going to modify them. So I'm going to place this in, but I'm going to show you that they are too big. So again, don't buy them. But if you get them for a very inexpensive price and you have the tools to modify them, go for it. Here we go. So as you can see, the top part, it will not screw right in there. So that's the link. The link cannot reach the rear hub carrier. And that is a problem. So the solution is to either get longer arms and a longer link, which is not going to happen for this. So I'm going to have to cut it. And I'm going to show you. Luckily, these are not one piece, so they will come apart. But if I move this up and down, you can see the distance that it needs to move. And it doesn't matter how much I try, it's simply not going to work. But it does rotate, it does spin as it should in there, which means that I am going to be using them. And the plastic shafts, to be honest, once you start adding power to these vehicles, they will break eventually, especially if you're running a slightly tighter slipper clutch. Once you begin tightening the slipper clutch to handle the power so that you don't burn it up, you will destroy them. Now, you do need to add thread lock to these because those are metal. So the new ones are metal and the threads will come loose. So that is something that you have to keep in mind. So this one is tight. It's on there nicely. Right in here. I will be replacing the other side as well. But the link, again, still doesn't fit. So I will have to modify this right here to make it fit. That little adjustment. And now I'm going to go ahead and just remove the rear hub carrier again. So this time I can go ahead and remove the shaft since I already screwed it on the differential end. And I'm going to pull one of the ends out, and that silver end, the outer end, that's the part that you end up cutting, which is the part that slides inside right in here. And I'm going to take probably about half of it. You don't need to remove half of it. Maybe 3 millimeters would be enough. 3 millimeters, that's less than a quarter inch, say 3/8. Now this one over here, I've already cut. And there we go, knocking down the camera. I put a piece of tape just to guide me as to where not to go beyond, but just grab a little file with an angle and then just lightly file. Now I do have some files that are much finer, but just to show you in the video, I use that other one, but here it is. Then grab a Dremel, set this flat so that you can flatten this out, and then just turn, and then just do the edge as well. You can chamfer it. You can also do this on a belt sander if you have it, but look at that. That is great craftsmanship, if I do say so myself. And make sure that it's very clean and very smooth before you install it so you don't destroy the other part of the half shaft. But here we go. So I'm putting the carrier back in, bearing. Don't forget to add the pin before you put the hex in. That's an important one. And this would be the step where if you have aluminum hexes, go ahead and replace the aluminum hexes. I'm not going to bother with them right now because I want to drive the truck more. Since this is a four-wheel drive and it's a Stampede, not a Slash, I want to see how these plastic ones right here handle. So we will see if they handle power, and then later on I can go to aluminum. But to be honest, I probably won't even buy the aluminum hexes. More than likely I am just going to get the 17mm adapters, and there's a variety of options. I'm looking at probably getting the 10mm adapters. They do make a 6, but the 6 may be a little too narrow given the wheels that I'm installing. I'm going to be installing some Proline trencher tires and the 3.8 wheels that come with them. Now those are the LS tires, so they're a little smaller in diameter than the X tires. The X tires are 6.5 inches. The LS that I'm going to be using are, I can't remember the dimensions right now. I want to say 5.8, but this is ready. And that's the reason why I want to go to 17. I just prefer 17 on something like this. Well, monster trucks in general, unless it's a mini monster truck. Here we go. So there's a screw. There's a little washer. Don't forget to put that little washer in there. And just going to drive it in. Hold it there and use your 2.5mm driver to drive it in. I do like these links. They're plastic. They're not adjustable, but you don't have to worry about them. Especially if you're going to be running in moisture environments or wetter environments. Well, they're plastic, they don't rust. But here we go. See, suspension arm works perfectly well. I will be doing the second one, but the second one I'll be doing off camera. It's the same process, but like I mentioned, you don't have to cut that much off the shaft. See how it works? It articulates very well. Probably just 3mm. So please comment below, subscribe if you have not, and I'll catch you on the next one.
What? Oh, my hair! My tongue! My rod!